Hello everybody and welcome to my language learning guide. So what we're going to do here is we're going to split it up into 4 different parts. That's going to be guided learning, self-study, immersion, and tracking. Now guided learning is going to be the stuff that takes you through lessons and stuff like that. It's guided. Self-study is going to be stuff that you can use independently to aid your studies. Immersion is going to be apps that you can use to immerse yourself in the language and improve your reading comprehension and listening comprehension. And tracking is just going to be just that, how you can track your progress and stay motivated while you're learning a language. In the guided learning section, we have 3 apps. We have Busuu, Duolingo, and Write It. So Duolingo, I think most people are familiar with. It goes through different lessons and introduces you to different vocabulary and sentences. However, it does receive a lot of criticism because a lot of the sentences seem a little bit useless, and it's mostly throwing vocabulary at you without teaching you directly the grammar concepts. So it is very good for vocabulary. I will recommend it for that, but for using it on its own, I wouldn't. I would use a combination of apps, and that's why I'm going through different apps in this video. It also helps with speaking practice as well, because there are speaking exercises. And yeah, so Busuu is similar to Duolingo, but in my opinion, it's better because it goes through stuff that is actually going to be useful to you, and it introduces you to the grammar concepts and has fake entire conversations that you can reference and use to increase your vocabulary. They also have built-in flashcards and a community feature. And what I mean by actually useful is that they'll go from they'll have sections for greetings, for asking where something is, different places, food, stuff you might actually need to know, stuff around the house, around a city, etc. And they usually have guides specific to travel for certain languages as well, if you aren't looking to learn the complete language. And Write It, it's not really an app to learn the language. However, Write It does allow you to learn the characters if you are learning a different alphabet. So for the Russian alphabet, I've been using Write It to train my hand to write the different Russian characters. And the reason it's in the guided learning section is because it has different groups of letters that you can go through at a time, and then it has tests and stuff like that for you to practice your skills. It's not 100% accurate, but if you use it right, it will be useful. One more thing about Busuu is they do have a community section where you can post exercises, and then native speakers can grade your exercises and correct them, which I found is extremely useful because, you will literally can't get better feedback, than from the people who speak the language that you're trying to learn. Now for the self-study section, we have 3 apps in here as well. We have Freeform, the Notes app, and Word Reference, which seem very simple, but they can be extremely useful if used in the right ways. So Word Reference is a dictionary. They have a lot of dictionaries from English to other languages and from other languages to other languages. And it doesn't just spit out a word for you. It gives you the word in context. If you wanted to say the word get, in English it has a bunch of different meanings. I get to go there tomorrow. I am getting a new TV. There's a bunch of different uses for the word get. For example, you can see words in sentences and decide the context you need that word in and get a good translation instead of just putting it into Google Translate and getting kind of something that might be what you're looking for. You can be assured that it's gonna be in the right context, which is extremely useful to me. And of course, for example sentences, you can look to Word Reference as well. For Freeform, that comes with your iPhone, and you can basically draw in it. I use that to practice writing my letters out and writing notes, as well as my Notes app, but my Notes app is also used for tracking my progress every day and writing sentences. One practice I like to do is write a sentence every single day, maybe with the same writing prompt even, and as you expand your vocabulary, make that sentence a little longer, a little more complex, and you can see how far you've gone. Immersion, we have 2 apps, which are social media apps and HelloTalk. Everyone knows social media, Instagram, YouTube, etc. And those are really helpful if you can train your algorithm to show up in your target language. Because when you do that, you're going to get a lot of exposure to audio and get a lot of exposure to informal language as well. If you wanted to talk to natives, aside from just talking to natives, you can pick up slang words from memes and different things that they make, as well as just notice cultural things and just whatever comes up, as well as your reading comprehension, of course. And Hello Talk is an app that lets you chat with native speakers. They have voice and text options, and you also can choose to only talk with your preferred gender. Like if you're a girl and you'd be more comfortable talking to girls, then you can set that gender preference. But as you talk with native speakers and post, they can correct you. There is in-app translation that you can tap on a word and it'll translate it for you. You can also have the app read aloud the text. And so it's extremely useful. They also have a built-in vocabulary thing. So like there will be different sections like weather or family or other things like that. They also have their own little podcast, and they also have teachers you can consult, which is pretty useful. And the free version of the app has a good amount of these features. And it has been really useful for me when learning Russian and understanding more about their culture and how they speak and things like that. One more app I'd like to add before we get into the last section is ChatGPT. Wasn't really sure where to put it because it could be really any of the sections, but it has been tremendously useful for me in learning Russian. So what I have been doing is I'll ask it to give me a story at like say the A1 level, and then I have to translate it into English. And when I translate it, I'll put a question mark at any words I don't understand, and I ask ChatGPT to basically explain the words to me that I don't know, and then make a story involving those words so that I remember them. So I could test my progress at a certain level, my reading comprehension, but also if I am trying to spell something in the Cyrillic alphabet, I can ask ChatGPT to ask me one at a time, like, what are the colors in Russian? Or can you spell this term in Russian? And I'll spell out the term, and if I get it wrong, I'll make it, it'll make me redo it until I get it right. So basically just repeated practice. It also helps if you have a specific grammar thing that you need help on, but there aren't a lot of specific exercises for it. You can ask ChatGPT to generate you some exercises. For example, if you're having trouble conjugating a certain word or something like that, you can ask ChatGPT to give you exercises and grade you at the end. So yeah. Now for the final section, progress tracking. Like I said, I use my Notes app to track progress. You can use whatever preferred software you would like. But what I do every day, I write the day that I'm on. I write a sentence. I write the resources that I used. And if I have any additional notes, I have a notes section. So every day I copy and paste that template and I'll write something out so I can see my progress. That is what keeps me motivated mostly when it comes to languages, is that I can go back all 44 or however many days I've been studying and see how much I've done in that time and how far I've gone. I also get the opportunity as I advance to look back at the more basic resources I used, which would be like YouTube links or lesson links or website links, whatever I used that day. I can go back at them. I could go back and look at them, sorry. And then I can see how far I've progressed because I'm like, oh, I understand this now. That's so cool. And yeah, so that's all I had to say. If you have any other ideas, leave them in the comments. Yeah, I hope some of this helped you, and good luck on learning your language.